in the Black, living your dream. Once again, this is our new podcast. I am your financial design coach, Aaron Smith, educating each and every single one of us on the importance of increasing our knowledge so that we are able to make the best decisions that we can make with our hard-earned dollars. You know, the reason for this podcast is that in elementary school, middle school, and high school, and in many cases, many of the colleges around the country do not teach personal finances. We don't learn about personal finances in school. We actually learn it on the run. When we get our first job, we get our first paycheck, we start to really truly learn about, you know, the fact that I got some income coming in, I got some money coming in, and now what do I truly do with it? We don't learn about investments. We don't learn about how to manage our debt. We don't understand how to protect our credit, right? Those are things that we're not taught to do, and it's not our fault that we don't always make the best decisions with our hard-earned dollars. It has a lot to do with the fact that we're not educating ourselves, our children, and our grandchildren to make the most efficient and effective decisions as it relates to money. That's what this podcast is designed to do. So I hope that you have pen and paper as we go into our next session. We're going to talk about cash reserves. There are buckets that are important in every financial household. One bucket is cash reserves. A second bucket is creating and eliminating your debt. Third bucket is risk management, making sure that you protect your wealth, protect your family, protect your belongings. That's a third pillar or third bucket. And the fourth bucket is being able to use the investments that are necessary to build your wealth. Listen here. There are only three ways to build wealth, right? You can do one or the other, or you can engage in all three. Number one is real estate. Real estate allows you to build wealth, to increase your net worth, whether you're purchasing your home or a second home or vacation home. You might be purchasing or own land, right? That is real estate. You may own a commercial building. That's real estate. So anything that has to do with real estate allows you to increase your wealth. The second way of building wealth is ownership of a business. Being an entrepreneur, right? Whatever your skill set is, what are you really good at? As a matter of fact, what is it that others tell you that you're good at? You could use that skill and that tool to create entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship doesn't have to be full-time entrepreneurship. It could be working for a company and then on the side moonlighting, actually creating and developing your skills in your own business, right? There's a third way of actually building wealth, and that is stocks and bonds, right? Ladies and gentlemen, it is actually taking the dollars that you earn and taking those dollars and buying shares of the companies that you and I use every single day. Think about when you get up in the morning and you go to the bathroom. You know, what do you use as toothpaste? You can invest in that company. How about toilet paper? Who makes that toilet paper? You can invest in those companies. When you get in your automobile, what type of automobile is it? What type of tires you have on your automobile? You can invest in those companies. Do you have a cell phone? What? A cell phone, that's right. What are the inside or the guts, we say, of that cell phone? You can invest in those companies making the product with your cell phone. There are many ways that you can invest in stocks and bonds, and you can do it in a consistent way which will allow you to build wealth. So those are the three ways of building wealth, increasing your net worth. So as we go along here, I'm going to continue to educate, and I'm going to talk about those three ways. I'm going to talk about not only the ways that you can build wealth, but specifically how you drill down into each one of those categories so that you have some confidence when it comes to building your net worth. So let's talk about living or financial, this map here. This is your financial roadmap for living life on purpose. You've seen this in the last sessions that I've talked about. This map. This map is your direction. This is your instructions on how to build wealth in your household. Now, as I go through this map, there are going to be things that might maybe confuse you or you're not sure how to implement. You can reach out to one of our coaches at our firm, and we'll be glad to help you and guide you and advise you on what steps you should take. Let me be clear, and this is important to note, is that every individual's personal finance and what you're trying to do financially is different. Your goals and financial decisions that you make in your financial life are going to be different from your fathers or your brothers or your sisters, right? It's going to be different. So whatever someone else is doing financially is not necessarily the recipe for you to help you reach your personal financial goals. So in this session, let's move forward, and I'm going to talk about, once again, cash reserves. I'm going to talk about cash reserves for a second. Aaron, what is cash reserves? Cash reserves is simply a savings and or a money market account that you generally own through your local bank or credit union. Sometimes you can own it through what is called your brokerage account. This emergency account or cash reserve account can be used for emergency. I would recommend that you at least create $1,000 in your emergency account, right? Or in your cash reserve account for emergency. Cash reserve account, once again, is what? A savings, checking, or money market account. It has no risk with it of loss of your principal. It earns, Aaron, a low rate of interest or return on your money. It's designed to earn that low rate of interest on your money because it's used for emergencies. It's used for those things that you want to use that money for in a short window. What is a short window, Aaron? I might be taking a vacation. In that vacation, I want to be able to get to money pretty quickly. That's going to be your cash reserve account. Now, you may be tuning into our podcast and you may have quite a bit of money set aside in your cash reserve accounts. Well, you can have too much money in your cash reserve account, which means that you're not maximizing the returns that you can get on those assets outside of your cash reserves, right? Cash reserve account is also important. How do you own it? It could be owned as an individual, or it could be owned as a joint and survivor. Meaning individually you own it yourself. Second, as a joint and survivor means that there's someone else's name attached to the contract or to the account with you. With the cash reserves, if you have a joint account, the other individual on that account has a right to not 50% of the value of the cash reserve account. They have the ability to call the banking institution and say, I want to have 100% of that money come out of the account because they are part owner of that account. If you are a single individual or you have an account that's single, you may even be married, but you have a single name on that account, individually owned, you want to make sure on your cash reserve accounts that you name a POD. POD is paid on death. Meaning that that person is not joint on your account. They have no right to the assets in your account. However, at your death, they'll be able to get the assets out of the account based on their name being on the paid on death document that the bank or credit union will provide you, and it allows your assets to pass to that individual without having to go through probate, right? So that's a cash reserve account. Recap: if you have quite a bit of assets in your cash reserve account, more than you should have, and you do know if you have more than you should have, there are other things that you can do with it to maximize your wealth. If you haven't started a cash reserve account yet, I encourage you to start a cash reserve account. Build at least $1,000 in the cash reserve account so that if an emergency comes up, you don't have to go to a credit card or you don't have to go to a friend or relative to get the dollars. Once again, this is In the Black, Living Your Dream. I am your financial design coach, Aaron Smith. If you need help and you want to understand how the cash reserve system works, or you would like to have a document that I've just pretty much been able to break down cash reserve, reach out to us and we'll get you a free document on that. Once again, we'll talk to you next time.